Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, you'll notice we're back on the Cursed Void ship. And that's because, as you can see here, apparently I just completely glossed over this secret side room, which opened up apparently right after we shut off those electric turbines. Though even looking directly at it right now, you can definitely see how I might have easily overlooked it. I'm honestly kind of surprised they didn't forcibly turn the camera just to make sure we saw it. Though, oh, there we go. And what have we got? Ah, okay, so just, a hefty stack of cargo. Nice, but nothing we couldn't have lived without. Though that is a full stack of heretical artifacts. Okay, so now we are officially done here. Let's pop back out to the main map and continue our explorations. Just had to get this out of our system, you know. But every little bit does help. And now for another thing we missed last time around. We have a colony project waiting in the queue. Oh, full-on event. Okay. Lord Captain, there is a conflict between the followers of the Order of the Hammer and the refugees from the Winterscale dynasty's domain. An argument broke out near the tomb of the ascetic Nicomedes Keefe, and the tomb was damaged in the fray. The pilgrims revering Keefe's rival, Philippomenes of Malpi, claimed Keefe to be a thief who had stolen the relics of Saint Cognatius and disturbed the sacrament of his resting place to sate his greed. The Order of the Hammer is furious at the heretical statements and the desecration of the ascetic's burial site. Yeah, I have no idea who those people are. What exactly is the problem here? St. Nicomedes Keefe is a missionary who arrived in the Expanse alongside the founders of the Order of the Hammer, offering them valuable guidance for colonizing Foulstone. He converted many worlds to the Imperial Creed, but his most famous feat was his search for the burial site of the legendary preacher, Saint Cognatius, who conquered the Expanse thousands of years ago, leaving behind scores of relics. Keefe was able to track down some of those relics. The order was named after the power hammer of Saint Cognatius. Pious charge. Philippomenes of Malpi is a priest from the Winterscale domain. He preached in the same times as Nicomedes Keefe and denounced him for the false veneration of Saint Cognatius. He believed that Cognatius preached the incomprehensibility of the highest wisdom to the people, and that any attempts to learn it would only lead to heresy. He called the search for Saint Cognatius's burial site blasphemy, and the collection of relics looting and soliciting. In his opinion, the sacred object should not be congregated in one place, but should find haven across the many worlds. The relics are power, and their aggregation gives way to pride. I see. So another conflict of doctrine amongst the ecclesiarchy. What say my advisors? By coming to a foreign realm, the Melpians are demonstrating their insolence. Penance should be imposed on them. We will send them on a pilgrimage to find the relics of Saint Cognatius, and to learn the ways of Saint Keefe. In this way they would be of use for returning the lost relics, and the Order of the Hammer would be satisfied with a just verdict. There was a similar case of belief dispute at the Fifth Ophelian Cathedral, and the conflict between the two cults was resolved in sacred duel. 20 champions from each side came forward, both sides vowing to accept the victor's teachings if they lost. I proposed to invoke the cathedral's edict and settle the dispute in the same way. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be settling this with blood sports, but thanks for being here, Argenta. Always great to see you. They believe that their faith is superior. Then let them prove it. Subject them to a severe test of faith. If they survive it, they will have proven their steadfastness. Even if the Order of the Hammer does not accept their arguments, it would be easier for them to recognize the newcomer's right to interpret the way of St. Cognacious, if they prove it with their own blood and pain. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that either, but thanks, Abby. Alright, folks, before we resort to effective banishment or blood sports or trials of endurance, why don't we try, maybe getting them together and seeing if we can possibly solve this with, words and stuff. It shall be done, Lord Captain. Putting forth 24 wise men from each side, the two cults have sought to find a common interpretation of the way of St. Cognacious. They may not have achieved dogmatic unity, but they have at least managed to find a way to coexist on the same world. Hey, there we go. You know what? Coexistence without killing each other is maybe the best we can hope for in a lot of these cases, but it's certainly a step in the right direction. Which also nets us our rewards for our very first colony project. Very nice. And perhaps more notably, opens up a slot for a new one. So let's see what we've got here. Touched by Holiness, which is more complacency. That provides more profit, but also slows down future projects, so we should probably... Yeah, we should probably do this one first. That's an easy rep boost. Morally questionable, but, no more so than the Ecclesiarchy itself. That aside, I don't think there's any long-term negatives. Someone will have to check me on that. Indulgences for sale. Selling the forgiveness of the Ecclesiarchy can be a significant source of revenue. As was so clearly illustrated back on Footfall. Right, even Hieronymus was doing it, so why not us? Let's push on. Ah, yes, there we are. So we're currently in Avioris. I guess we will head for... let's say... Omicron. We might as well start there, bank some more navigator points. The bridge is thrumming with the sound of endless officer reports, the hum of ancient mechanisms, and the buzz of servo engines. Among the usual servants bustling to and fro, the Lord Captain notices a flash of flame-red hair. Juliet? Okay. Slightly unexpected, but always welcome. You posed a question to me not long ago, Alan Tech. And now I am here to present you with my answer. With fluid grace, Juliet emerges from the shadows of the captain's bridge. Her face seems to glow under the lumen light, her expression slightly more pensive than usual. Right, of course. And just to clarify, what exactly is the question you think I asked you? We talked about how we each see the world in our own way. You were eager to know how Eldari see the world. Do you still wish to hear the answer? Always happy to gather more data, please. I'm happy to hear whatever you have to share. Then listen closely to my answer, Alan Tech. You may struggle to comprehend what is to be said, being accustomed to reveling in your own might and skewing the world to suit yourself. Pitch your understanding not toward my words, but the sense that lies hidden in the shade of their sounds. Juliet half closes her eyes, her words unfurling slowly and melodically. You try to split the world into pieces, to fragment it into light and dark, truth and lies, self and other. But I see the world as a single whole. and in this lies its simplicity and its complexity. It is not enough simply to see the world and hear its voices. You must understand it. Think of the Lelathan, the world on which our paths crossed. What is it truly? What is its essence? The Lelathan's magnificence comes not from the green of its vast forests, or from the depths of its waters. Its beauty is in the word, in the way it dances on the tongue, and even you, Elentek, can sense it. Try. Say the word, slowly, delicately, casting aside all stray thoughts. Feel. Perhaps then you will see. Sure, I'll give it a try. Lelathan. The foreign word rolls around awkwardly in your mouth, and, once released, it immediately sinks without a trace into the sea of voices on the captain's bridge. You are rushing, Elentek. Try again. Do not force the word. Let it take you with it. Right. Sorry. Lelathan. The world around you fades, and your perception instantly narrows, coming to a single point of focus on the tip of your tongue. Li. Your tongue delicately tickles the roof of your mouth, and the sound slips along your throat with incredible silkiness, warming as it goes like a sip of fresh recaf. Lay. The tip of your tongue touches the same place again, and the air softly rushes from your chest. The sound like the susurration of leaves as the wind weaves through a forest canopy. Then, your tongue taps your front teeth, and a gentle vibration spreads through your body, sending a shiver along your spine. Guarded interest gleams in Yurliet's eyes when your gazes meet again. I'm not sure, but I think I felt something. If your words are sincere, Elentek, then you are capable of seeing more than you do now. Instead of the lifeless clamor of monstrous mechanisms, the roar of engines, and the discordant voices of your followers, I hear and attend to silence. It arises in moments of spiritual serenity, and in that stillness we become witness to the transformation of our own inner world. Monkey lives pass so swiftly. You rush through them for the sake of a chosen goal, but thoughts of transience and loss frighten you, and so you drive such thoughts away and drown yourselves in the daily tumult. But it is from fleeting moments which enter our lives and quickly vanish from them that the soul's fortress grows. A moment's blooming, an hour's wilting. The splendor of each lies in its ephemerality. So too the memories of those who have left our side and no longer walk the path with us. And in you, Elentek, I see much more than just another monkey. Your true essence lies in your will, which is capable of changing the world around you and within you. It lies in your ability to create and to understand your creation, and in your ability to destroy. It lies in what your kin's minds cannot grasp, what their primitive sight cannot behold. But I can see it. Interesting. Shades of existential dread combined with personal agency? Careful there, Yurliet. That almost sounded like a compliment. I am but speaking the truth, Elentek. However, I ask you not to make the mistake typical of your kind. My words contain no insinuation nor any call for you to act. Your soul shines brightly in this world. I see you, and this will never change. That is all. Right, and I guess I see you too. This has been quite an experience. And what do you make of it, Elentech? How differently do you see the world? Oh, gosh, I was really kind of hoping there wouldn't be a follow-up question, but, I guess if I had to quantify it, I would say... Yes, I do believe that there is something greater going on beneath the surface, beyond what most people see and are satisfied with. And while it may not be possible for anyone to ever fully understand all those moving pieces, it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. And what does that mean? Yurliet asks, with all of her attention focused on your words. Gosh darn it, Yurliet. Okay. Well, you know what, when in doubt, default to Iconoclast. I see an inherent suffering in those around me, and it compels me to act, to try to change that. If you speak of our soul's ability to overcome hardship, then the experience of suffering does indeed become a symbol of our abiding strength and inner growth, and it gives hope that we can overcome life's trials. Sure, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yurliet says nothing for a time, silently watching you from under her half-lowered lids. Now that we have each shared our truth about this world, I would like to know if your thoughts about me align with those of your kin, Elentech, or if you see me differently. Oh, is this our opportunity to kickstart our romance arc with Yurliet? That's a bit awkward, considering she literally just told us not to. Well, Yurliet, I will say that you are a very intelligent and capable companion. A valuable ally, but a dangerous one. One that I may not ever fully understand. I accept your answer, Elentech. As long as you do not attempt to get under my skin or demand something else of me. She places particular emphasis on the last few words. I will go now, Elentech. Guide your steel-winged bird. Fine, I will, but not because you told me to. She's, she is an interesting one. It's really kind of hard to fathom how a romance would even work there. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. That said, I'm not even sure we picked the right options there to start anything. And even if we did, I really do feel like Cassia's a better potential partner. Oh, wow, that was quick. Okay. Apparently indulgences are now officially for sale. I honestly figured that would take a little longer, but that's fine. Not, I suppose, that we've really unlocked anything else. We haven't had time to. So, I guess we should go ahead and get touched by holiness. Inappropriate. Saint Cognatius left behind many treasures that are now coveted by powerful men and women. Rogue trader Incendia Corda possesses the shards of a priceless combi tool, bearing the saint's fingerprints. Formally reclaiming the relic via the Adeptus Administratum will be a bureaucratic war requiring influential allies, and nothing short of an army of clerks and scribes. But if it is passed into the safekeeping of monks in the Order of the Hammer, it will be a great triumph for the faithful. Yeah, sure, let's do it. +2 complacency is more profit, but slightly slower colony project progression, which, as we're seeing here, really feels like it's not going to be much of a problem. Though I'm sure as we get to more advanced projects, they're... Oh, geez. Okay. Well... Your Lordship, there are alarming reports coming from Janus. A number of strange mutations have been spotted amongst the population in remote agri-complexes. Aside from the obvious disfigurement and the subsequent estrangement, these mutants, called wretches by the rest of the colonists, are coming together to practice a primitive form of religion, involving ritual worship of the land. While they display no disobedience or hostility, their very existence is concerning. The Janus nobility humbly awaits your decision. Right, okay, well, I'm going to need more data before I can decide anything, so... What do we know about these things so far? Their mutations cause the loss of skin pigment and the shedding of hair. The eyes of some have started developing a nictitating membrane, similar to that of reptiles. Others succumb to progressive atrophy of the larynx, causing the loss of human speech. At the same time, their tendons become denser and more elastic, providing increased endurance and load resistance. The wretches are commonly ostracized due to their grotesque appearance. There haven't been too many cases of mob justice yet, but they will become commonplace after the mutation's deformities become more obvious. The wretches tend to form groups with similarly afflicted people. Their average level of intellect is low. They all belong to the labor caste and communicate amongst themselves using a primitive vernacular of their own invention. As for their barbaric religion, they are deifying both the soil and Janus itself. To them, working in an agri-complex is a form of worship, which has had a positive impact on productivity. Interesting. So, aside from just being unsettling, they're not really hurting anyone? Anyone else have anything to say about this? I saw your agent's pict recordings. The signs these Monkey leave behind, their idols, and I cannot deny a pathetic, though extremely abstract connection to the symbols of my people. Their guttural prayers echo the sounds of the children of Asurion's speech. The probability of them having come into such close contact with our civilization is non-existent, yet they are still somehow connected. Protect these people. Resettle them to distant abodes where they will not be harmed for their peculiarities. And keep watch. Someday the truth may be revealed. The blessed sanction of the Imperium does not grace these mutants, but nor does it declare their existence anathema. Should we sentence them without further study? There are mutants whose existence is fully sanctioned, such as Ogrins, Ratlings, Pariahs, Pelagers, Felinids, or Troths. Our library had many treatises on the janitor's craft, and I could impart some of that knowledge to your servants. Purely theoretical, of course. Ooh, secret navigator knowledge. That is very tempting. This mutation has not been properly studied, and is missing from the catalog. I am not registering a basis for delaying the commencement of immediate genetic purification. I recommend launching a thorough investigation into the genetic makeup of this forbidden strain. Okay, so all three of our advisors actually do want us to study these things, but they all want us to do it in slightly different ways. Juliet wants us to isolate and protect them while studying them remotely, but Pascal wants us to purge them, and I guess autopsy them, research their remains. Cassia is actually offering us the middle ground here, which is a bit unusual. She wants us to study them, but not necessarily to isolate them, and she's sweetening the pot with secret knowledge we might not otherwise have access to. Yeah, we'll go with that one. I hope that my house will not judge me for this. The wretches continue to toil arduously for the good of Janus. However, the leniency shown to the mutants may lead to dangerous consequences. Yeah, well, what else is new? That's just life in the grimdark future. The rogue trader's servants graciously accepted information on the mysterious janitor arts from Lady Navigator Cassia's own hands. They started an inquest to discover the nature of the mutant strain. The wretch's twisted flesh revealed its secrets on the autopsy table. Alright, well, I didn't say we should do that, but we'll just assume those are ones that died of natural causes. And of course we grab our rewards for finishing Chem Princes, which notably opens a second project slot, so let's get a gander at our options here. Once again, not a lot we really qualify for here just yet. Though this one, even just at a glance, looks pretty solid. Oh, but this one grants a reward across our entire trade empire. Though it does require chemicals, so we might as well do this one first, just to bump up our supply before we go spending it. The Secret of the Winter Scales. Legend has it that House Winterscale holds the secrets of gas factoriums, workshops in which tons of organic raw materials pass through fermentation vats, hot rollers, and pressure exhausts to yield valuable chemicals. This sacred technology could enable Janus to reproduce enormous volumes of promethium. However, only the most skillful and highest-paid smugglers will be up to the task of stealing this treasure. I mean, if you say so. Because at a glance, it really does look like the requirements are pretty meager, at least by rogue trader standards. And just spot checking our current contracts real quick. We need Xenotech and we need Promethium, so in theory, once we finish that new project, we can immediately cash in that Adeptus contract as well. Oh, for goodness sake. Permission to report, Lord Captain. I keep receiving messages about strange behaviors in certain ship systems. All decks report the uncontrollable opening and closing of doors, gates, and airlocks. They behave erratically and do not obey the operator's commands. Regrettably, this has led to casualties among the crew. The tech priests have explained that these phenomena are being caused by the machine spirit's irascibility, and have spent hours chanting litanies to soothe their anger. Unfortunately, many crew members were badly injured before the prayers could stabilize the systems. Okay, well, thank you, Vigdis, for informing me of that thing I can't do anything about. Navigator pulse fired. Looks like it only connects to System Speculo, so that makes it clear where we're headed next. Let's see what we've got. Fairly straightforward. Space dust, which is almost certainly fuel. And then 3... Oh, yeah, there we go. And then 3 uncharted planets. Let's give them a peek. Ooh, point of interest. Magnetic storm. The magnetic storm raging above the planet blurs the gaze of augur arrays. Only truly powerful diviner machines may see through the currents of magnetic fluctuations in their blessed vigil, and discover the mysteries of this Emperor-forsaken planet. The rogue trader has decided to leave this unwelcoming world. Maybe he will return here one day. Wow, just coming right out and saying it, huh? You know, back in Alpha, I did speculate that there would be a number of planets we'd have to come back to, because we simply didn't have a scanner powerful enough. There was an ice planet, too. Something buried in the ice we couldn't accurately scan with our standard augur array. I'll have to make a note of this, I suppose, for the distant day when we finally acquire that very blatantly foreshadowed upgrade. Inhabited world. The ruins of an ancient imperial city were discovered on a dead world, completely deprived of an ecosystem. According to the reports, the entire settlement is contained in a titanic glass dome that once held an artificial atmosphere. Your augurs detected the framework of 3 other similar structures that were never completed. For whatever reason, the dome systems failed, and left behind is this city. A ghost that never managed to become a proper colony of the Imperium. That is very sad. We'll offer words of prayer as we pick through their belongings. Starting with a stack of holy gifts. Very nice. The Temple District is situated at the heart of the city. The God Emperor statue, intricately carved from precious crystal, is suspended beneath the dome, supported by chains of gold, and can be seen from anywhere in the colony. Inspired by the majestic sight, the expedition members set off to explore the area with renewed vigor. Soon enough, they stumble upon an ancient weapon, lying on a pedestal wreathed in sunlight. The expedition brought it back to the ship, and told many tales about how the Emperor himself, who had been watching them from above, had directed their attention to the sacred relic. A Blessed Bolter casing. Single attacks with bolter weapons automatically hit the target. Wow. So yet another fantastic upgrade for a character we currently have on the bench. Gather yon supplies. Behold, a veritable cornucopia of mundane materials. Your people flooded the city like a tidal wave, filled building after building, bunkhouse after bunkhouse, and receded from its quiet streets just as quickly. There were plenty of useful things among their findings, including foodstuffs and weapons. Might as well grab that fuel while we're at it. They're certainly not going to need it. Which nets us one full stack. It takes several trips to deliver the massive Promethium storage tanks to your vessel. The crew grimly points out the colony was running out of fuel. Had the life support system not failed prematurely, the locals would still have perished due to lack of energy. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be able to handle that sort of thing. Living on a ship or a hostile planet. It's a romantic thought, but the realities are harsh and grim. A lavishly decorated estate of the local ruler towers over rows of featureless bunkhouses. Several explorers perished from the cleverly hidden tripwires in the courtyard, but after losing their companions, the team easily disarmed the remaining traps in the estate. Anything of value has been promptly delivered to the rogue trader's vessel. The Lord Captain was even given an exquisite sword, found in a secret cache that once belonged to the mansion's owner. Neat. I mean, I'm slightly more excited about the +1 profit factor, but I'll take a ghost sword, which appears to just be a slightly more powerful than usual sword. That's... oh, I see. It's also an Aeldari weapon, okay. I suppose we could toss that to Jay, for those rare occasions we actually use her. Alright, people, we're done here. Let us leave this unsettlement behind. And one more planet. Let's see what we got. Ah, 2 plasteel. Definitely not worth an extractium. Bit of a disappointing last find, but I believe that does leave us enough time to scope out the next sector. Yeah. Let's pop back out to the system map. Not sure we'll actually have time to finish it, but we can at least get a peek at what lies in store. System Speculo. Oh, and yet another event. My goodness. Apologies for disturbing you, Lord Captain. I just thought you should know. The Lady Navigator has successfully guided the ship out of the warp's hold and left the Sanctum Navis. But instead of going to her chambers as usual, she headed for yours. Perhaps you will want to prepare for this meeting. Ooh, okay. You know, I was kind of hoping we'd get some action, but this isn't quite what I imagined. Still, no complaints. Milady Cassia? Greetings, Lord Captain. I meant to inform you that our journey through the warp went well. My navigator's gaze perceived the light of the Astronomicon beyond the tumultuous waves of the Sea of Souls, albeit with some difficulty. The crew and the master helmsman conducted themselves adequately. My instructions during the jump helped them find their focus and guide the ship without any serious incidents. Good to know. Thank you, Lady Cassia. Though, truth be told, I never had reason to doubt your abilities. We're all very lucky to have someone like you on board. Cassia's expression changes suddenly, and she gives a reserved nod. It pleases me to hear this, Lord Captain. I am equally satisfied with your manner of command. Fidgeting awkwardly, Cassia glances around the study. I see you have many compelling works of art here, but precious few paintings. I, for one, do enjoy passing what little spare time I have with a brush in hand. Why, just recently I created a beautiful voidscape, inspired by our travels together. I cannot show it to you quite yet, as it still only exists in my mind's eye. But the imagery... oh, if only you could see. I actually did get a chance to see some of your works back on Urak 5. It was very compelling. Given your recent experiences, I'm sure that your new piece will be just as, if not even more, impressive. I look forward to seeing it. Thank you, Lord Captain. Your gratifying sincerity is wreathed in the light of a rising sun. If such is your wish, I shall show you my work when it is complete. Her furtive smile speaks louder than her polite nod. One other thing I meant to tell you is that I am quite well read, and that my knowledge is not limited to the navigator's craft. I am versed in many other scholarly fields, such as the centenary history of the Calixi sector, or... Cassia shrugs awkwardly. Navigators are taught to familiarize themselves with the warp from childhood. Should you require my help, that is to say, my counsel, my knowledge is extensive, so please, do not hesitate to ask. She fiddles with a lock of her hair, while still proudly holding her chin high, and avoiding your gaze at the same time. Oh, she is adorable. Not quite as good as the beach date, but this is still pretty cute. Lady Cassia, you really don't need to try this hard to impress me. We've already traveled together for quite some time, and I am already thoroughly impressed. Not just by your abilities, but also by your capacity for change. You're an incredible woman. You are too kind, Lord Captain. Cassia looks away, but before she does, you catch a strange, fleeting expression on her face. Could it be joy? I apologize. I must be distracting you from important matters. With this, please permit me to leave your presence, Lord Captain. Cassia gives a courteous nod, gracefully picks up her cloak, and takes her leave. Sorry to see her go, but fair enough. See, like, with Yurliette, I find her to be a fascinating character, and I am curious to see what a relationship would actually entail. But with a character like Cassia, I just think she's fun. She's cute. She's adorable. Also kind of messed up in some ways, but, you know, trying to at least improve herself in those ways as well. At least where she can. She's also got that whole Astronomicon curse, of course. Oh, hello. That's new. The hideous head of a steel devil, destroyed by the rogue trader aboard a corrupted void ship. The mask of Aurora, the prophet of the archenemy who foretold the final dawn, on Rycad Minoris. Oh, cool. Okay, so this is like a trophy gallery. And one more over here. Janus, I assume? A fascinating, delicately smelling flower from the agri-world Janus is but one symbol of the rescue of the planet from the clutches of Chaos worshippers. Nice. That's reminiscent of the Ranger Museum in Wasteland 3. A collection of trophies to celebrate the various questlines we've completed, with plenty of room for more, so obviously we've got a lot of other potential achievements ahead of us. I'll have to make a habit of poking my head in every once in a while, just to see if anything new has appeared. Especially since the Forge Fiend head indicates it's not just major locations that cause new things to appear. Anyway, back to exploring. Oh, look at that. We've got a very dangerous route to this cluster up here. That is certainly an option, once we've finished with Speculo. I was kind of hoping to hit Cradle of Kepri, but now I'll have to think on it. We've got options. System Speculo. And right off the bat, we've got hostile ships. Plus that colony project that just popped. Touched by Holiness, complete. That's +2 complacency. And another open slot, which... yeah, unfortunately we do not have any options for right now. Oh, man. Well, now I'm kind of regretting not bumping our rep with the Drusians a bit more. Or not. I mean, actually, it looks like we have mutually exclusive options between the Explorators and the Drusians, in which case it's really much more straightforward, because obviously we're going to go Explorator. And Secret of the Winter Scales, complete. Plus a new slot, which I suppose will immediately go towards a cure for sloth. Since the grimy masses are so lazy, a wise lord will add substances to their daily communion to ensure obedience and diligence. Once purified and distilled, these truly miraculous plant-based chemicals will make a commoner forget their fatigue and their purposeless pastimes. And once their body is burnt out and withered, they will simply be replaced by a new worker. Okay, well, you know, right up until that last part, it sounded pretty good, but, you know, I'll just use some narrative license here to reframe that. We are creating supercharged energy drinks available for purchase at all workplaces, which workers may or may not indulge in, as they see fit. Much in the same way that I myself consume minimum 300 milligrams of caffeine on a daily basis. No worries, though. Once I'm a burnt-out husk, the next highest-ranking raider will just step up and take my place. As has always been, and shall forever be. Blood and Nephium. Caligos Winterscale has found out that the secret of gas vectoriums has been stolen from him. However, he is willing to leave that unfortunate incident in the past, offering the prospect of much greater gains. He is now captivated by the idea of seizing House Corda's Nephium rigs on the frozen world of Lucen's breath. For Caligos himself, it would appear, the profit is a mere side benefit of the opportunity to massacre large numbers of House Corda's servants in planetary battles. He is offering to pay with the aforementioned priceless flammable liquid in exchange for the fighting force he is desperately lacking. Ooh, lots of interesting subtext there. But, you know, ignoring the moral implications of this trade, we don't have that many people to spare anyway. So we'll think about it. But we will definitely do this one. Fuel for the Faithful. The Explorator Cognizance fleet is planning a holy expedition to an unexplored subsector. Their emissary, Opticon 22, is prepared to buy a massive amount of fuel for their void ships. And a Chivo, bonus. Largely meaningless, but always nice when they pop. Unfortunately, I think we do have to call it here. I was hoping to get into a fight, but we'll have it waiting for us next time. That aside, a very interesting mix of events today. Lots of colony building, plus a surprising amount of interstellar romance, between what I would say are probably the two most promising prospects, as far as rogue trader romance goes, at least for us. I suppose Jay's also an option, but you know, while I may dabble with that a bit just to try to get a better feel for her, I'm not sure she's really our type, at least not as we've been playing our character. But you know, who knows, maybe she'll pleasantly surprise me. I'll probably hold off on doing much with her at all until we find Dargonis, which I believe is where we can progress her personal quest. That's when we'll actually sit down and get to know her better and, you know, possibly engage in some light fraternizing. Anyway, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, and we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, V23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Whatever it is, do not come any closer.